An exercise scientist is someone who's done a university degree. So it's a 4-year degree and you're basically learning all the principles of exercise and how it relates to people. So there's obviously a lot of work on anatomy and physiology, and then that's the first part of your work, but I did my degree 30 years ago. So obviously things have changed and I've learned a lot in that time. So my degree is just a very small part of what I do. I think the 30 years experience has taught me a lot more than 4 years of uni. My experience is pretty varied, I guess. When I came out of uni thousands of years ago, I went straight and started a personal training business. So I did that for a while. Then I opened my own gym in Bondi in the mid-90s. I had that for quite a few years. Continued with the personal training. I also did some work after that. I was then triathlon coaching, so I coached a lot of people. Going back a step, I guess I coached a lot of people in different sports while I had the gym. Then I got into triathlon coaching, coached at the 2000 Olympics, 2002 Commonwealth Games, and then did a lot of work with the AIS, with the Sports Commission. I guess it's a really good question. I've always worked with everyday people. I've worked with elite athletes at various times over my career, and I've learned a lot. The main thing with working with athletes at the top level that you learn is that training needs to be challenging, but more importantly, it needs to be a logical progression and it needs to be sensible. So elite athletes, the most important thing, the person who wins competition most of the time isn't necessarily the best athlete, it's the person who's had the best preparation. So it's really important that you have this logical progression that's safe, and so you're not getting injured. A lot of the training these days that I see people doing, general population, is really dangerous. There's a lot of activity done that's really not necessary and doesn't achieve a lot. It just is really, really hard. And there's a lot of point in challenging yourself, as I said, but there's a lot more point in doing it in a controlled way and making sure your exercise is safe. So I saw that as a big issue in the industry in general, and something that I've worked really hard on is making sure people don't get injured. But also it's a lot of that work transpires, carries across, probably a better word, into general population, unhealthy population. It doesn't particularly matter. The most important thing is that you have a sensible progression, that your exercise is safe, and that you're learning the correct technique and always working with that correct technique. When I first see people, I look at their whole body in terms of how they move, their mobility, their strength, their core strength. It's a really important basic understanding that some people do have, a lot of people don't have, is that joint pain is typically a result of your muscles not doing their job properly. So your joints really are supported by your muscles. They're just sitting there. You get pain in them because they're out of alignment, you've had an injury to them, they've had an impact, something's wrong. So a lot of back pain, for example, comes through having a really weak core, having a lack of mobility and flexibility in your hamstrings and your hips. So I look at people and look at where the issues are and then try and work out how we can, here's a weak spot, what can we build around that weak spot to make them stronger, to make the pain less, to make their ability to exercise and just go about their daily activities a whole lot easier, less painful, more enjoyable, increase the amount of things they can do, whether it's someone wants to go surfing or someone wants to just be able to go get back into their garden, or they want to be able to walk to the shops. Little things that they have done in the past that they can't do now. That's really important to me, to try and get those people back into a situation where they can do what they used to do, really enjoy their lives again, and just not miss out on activities that they shouldn't have to miss out on. So I like to work with the other practitioners, learn from them, find out where the issues are, and then look at the person and how we can help them with their exercise. In my job, in my role in this place, I see myself as a small part of the overall picture. It's a massively important part of life is movement, activity, the joy that that brings, but it's also really important that people are happy in other areas of their life. And I find that exercise is one way that once you start moving, you start doing a little bit, you'll want to eat better, you start to sleep a bit better, you'll start to be a little bit less stressed. And by working on all those things at once, it's amazing how quickly people start to feel good about themselves again and start to enjoy their life.